first we need to create our project. So I'm just going to quickly show you how to download LibGDX setup application, which will help us to create our project. In your browser, you can just type libgdx setup app and go to first link which says download libgdx. Just click on download setup app and that will download the jar that we have to run. I already have that jar running, so I'm just going to create project immediately. For the name, I'm going to call it Skippy Flowers. Package will be com.jga, which is short for Jojo Guru Academy. You can call it however you want. You can call it com.yourname or whatever. And then Skippy. Game class, I usually put it as Skippy Flowers and game. So the actual game name and game class, just suffix game. Destination in my case will be the projects Skippy-flowers. Android SDK is your Android SDK path. If you don't have Android installed, you don't have to select Android subproject. You can just select desktop. But in this course, I'm going to select desktop and Android. For extensions, we only need tools. So we can press generate. Two dialogues will appear where we can click yes in both dialogues. Now, while project is generating, you can open your Android Studio or Eclipse or NetBeans or whatever you want to use. You don't have to use specifically Android Studio. So whatever is the easiest IDE for you. Which IDE are you most familiar with? So now we need to import project into Android Studio. I'm using the latest Android Studio 2.2.2. All we need to do is click on import project, navigate to our project, which in my case is in the projects. And sometimes you will have to refresh it until it appears. So now there is Skippy Flowers. All we need to do is click on build.gradle, press OK, and that will import our project. Now, while project imports, it will automatically build it. So we will automatically be able to run our project. Sometimes Android Studio will ask you to update Gradle plugin, which probably in my case, as you can see, it is asking. So you can just click update. But since I don't have the latest Android SDK installed, I will have to change some variables in Gradle scripts. So just go to build.gradle, and there we are using the latest GDX version, which is 194. But in Android subproject in build.gradle, it is trying to use build tools version 24, and I don't have that installed, so I'm going to use older version 2303. And then just click try again, or you can use older version, even newer, you can use 25 if you want. So now first we have to run our game and adjust our working directory. I will explain what is working directory. By default, when we run this desktop launcher, which is in desktop subproject, working directory will be a root of project. So it will be the project Skippy Flowers, but our assets that we are using inside core are in Android assets. So we need to set working directory to assets directory. Let's first run this main method inside desktop launcher. It will automatically crash, but it will create our configuration for running desktop launcher. So we can go to edit configurations, and there you will see working directory, which is the project's Skippy Flowers in my case. In your case it will be different. So we just need to navigate to Android and assets. That is our working directory. And that needs to be our working directory. Now, while Gradle builds our project, when we run it next time or even immediately, Gradle will pick up changes Sometimes it will pick up changes, sometimes it will not. Sometimes it takes up to few minutes to build the project, but you can stop it and start it again. So just click on this play button after you set up working directory. Gradle is building our project, and Gradle is actually a build tool that LibGDX is using. Android SDK is also using Gradle as build tool. Now, when our project runs, we will see this bad logic logo in our window, in our game. So our game class currently is inside core, so we can go to core and check what do we have in Skippy Flowers game. We can see that it extends application adapter and it is using one texture. Now you can see this is our current game that we are going to change, and we are going to create our game in this window. So now that working directory is set up properly, we will be able to run our main class. In the next lecture, we are going to prepare project code and start coding our actual game.